I'm going to talk about Space Jam, and then we'll see what the article has to say, page 9, if you want to go to it. And then we'll cover that. And you said, by the way, Tom, you said you've seen it as well, right?
I have not seen it yet.
Oh, you have not seen it.
No.
Okay. LeBron James sends message to haters as Space Jam takes over box office. This is a New York Post story. LeBron James sent a message to the world as his new film takes over the box office. James took to Twitter to link an article stating Space Jam, a new legacy, is set to finish the weekend at #1 with a projected $32 million opening, beating out Black Widow. Hi, haters. James wrote, Kai, can you pull up this tweet, please? Hi, haters. The sequel to 1996 Michael Jordan-led Space Jam pulled in more than $13 million on Friday, despite poor reviews. A movie which reportedly cost $150 million to make is also available on HBO Max. Other hoop stars who appear in the Space Jam sequel include Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Diana Taurasi, and Klay Thompson. So, having said that, Gerard, you watched it last night. Tell us about it.
Space Jam, the original Space Jam is one of my favorite movies. And in fairness, I'm not a LeBron James fan. But I thought, okay, listen, it's a kid's movie. They can polish his image, right? And all this thing was, the first 15 minutes were the most self-aggrandizing, arrogant thing I've ever seen in my life. Juxtapose it against the original Space Jam, where the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes were Michael Jordan joking about himself. It was self-deprecating. Right there, just the self-awareness of what you need to know. LeBron James being called king and, showing why he's the greatest thing in the world, versus Michael Jordan cracking on himself right off the bat. That's all you need to know about the two guys and the way that they maintain their brand. But I watched it. I got all the way through it, and it had some unbelievably talented people. Don Cheadle, Ryan Coogler. The animation was terrific.
Don Cheadle killed it, by the way.
There was like 7 jokes, and I sat there after, an hour and a half, and I felt like I was in like some sort of mental gulag. I have no idea why I did this, 90 minutes of my life on this, and I said, I'm not positive if this is true, but I think I can make an argument that Casey Anthony is a better mother than Space Jam is a movie. I'm not positive.
Didn't care for it.
I'm not really in the I don't like ripping other artists and stuff like that, man. And $150 million, some unbelievable guys. That's great. But this was the single worst thing I think I've ever. This was The Room bad. This was high mark level bad. This was. Oh man, I don't even like this. Should be classified as a war crime. This thing was horrible. How they're showing this to children
is bad to you.
Oh my god!
Now Gerard doesn't have children, right? No. So it's not like you were sitting there with a couple kids that might have dug it.
So you have any thoughts on it?
I have some thoughts on it. Number one, I think this is all spin, right? I think LeBron can come out and, hey, haters, scoreboard. But you know what? If this was a normal times, that's not a good debut. $32 million is not a good Friday through Sunday debut. As a matter of fact, it's right up there with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doolittle. All right, he did the exact same damn thing in 2020, and that was considered probably the biggest flop of Downey's career. So, A, you have limited releases right now, okay? There's just not that many movies. There's not that many options out there. B, if you compare it to what Michael debuted with, what Jerry Maguire was out at that time, I mean, there were some big movies and some competition. I give LeBron credit. Shows up at the finals with his own bottle of tequila that he's promoting, and he's got the movie. If he was in the finals, this thing would have done even better, right? Because that's a running commercial.
Well, that was
for
the
him.
Plan, though. If you look at the date when it came out, the plan was he would be in the finals.
So I think this is a little bit of a disappointment, but all in all, it's going to do well. It's going to do a couple $100 million worldwide, especially when you bring in the streaming numbers.
He just doesn't know how to have fun. He's like the least fun human being. Like the dude is A-Rod, man. Like it's like so image conscious. Everything comes off as so canned. You were right. I felt like I was watching LeBron James propaganda. This was not a fun movie at all.
So here's what happened with me. Kai, go back to the tweet that I sent to you. Like, go to that. So here's what I said. I responded back to him. I said, Jordan versus LeBron Space Jam. Space Jam won MJ. Budget, $80 million. Box office, $250.2 million. In 1997, not including inflation, no streaming, no social media. Space Jam 2, budget $150. Box office, it would need to do $471 million to match Space Jam 1. No hater here, just simple data, right? That's what I responded. Okay, so now... 2 hours after this tweet goes out, I take the kids to go watch it. So it's myself and the kids and Mario and Carol. So we go to watch the what do you call it, the movie. And for me, the first 15 minutes just looked pretty much what you said. It looked like a documentary. It didn't look like a movie. It looked like how great he is, his highlight reel, all that stuff, right? And then the story starts, and it's the story of father, son, and he's forced him to be a basketball player, and this guy's a gamer, and hey. I saw that part, the emotional connection about a father trying to get his kids to be like him. It's a very difficult position. It's LeBron James. This guy is the greatest basketball player in the world as of 3 years ago, right? I mean, he's changed the last 2 or 3 years. The greatest basketball player around the world. So the storyline was great. So I asked my kids afterwards, not going to lie to you, the last 45 minutes I was knocked out. It was the best sleep I had in a long time. I'm not to take shots at the movie. Just so everybody knows, I knock out 50% of movies I watch. So this is not like it's a Space Jam thing. It's a PBD thing.
Was the theater full?
Shout out to JP Sears.
The theater was not only full, they clapped at the end. People stood up screaming they loved the storyline, okay? I asked my kids, what'd you think about it? They like Space Jam 2 more than 1. Mm-hmm. But they don't know like the whole history and all this other stuff. They don't look at it from that standpoint. My boys related to the story that has to do with them and their father. That's all they talked about. Because my son says he wants to be a scientist. So he's not trying to be, and I always tell him, buddy, I don't want you to do what your daddy does. What do you want to do, right? So to them, it was kind of like that connection they made with the story. I thought the story was phenomenal, is what the story was. The writer is an Armenian writer, by the way. The guy who wrote the script is an Armenian writer. I thought the script was great. I thought Don was freaking insane.
He's Don Cheadle.
He just crushed it. Yeah. I thought LeBron is not an actor. I thought LeBron's commercials the first year he came out were better than the acting he did in this movie. Yeah. And then at the same time, there's just a part of me that, you know, I go back and I think about a couple things here. Again, high haters, numbers here. I mean, what do you, buddy? First of all, Michael wouldn't do that. Here's the other part. If I'm LeBron James, why didn't Kobe Bryant ever do Space Jam 2? Mm-hmm. What are you doing Space Jam 2?
Yeah.
Like, what is the idea of doing Space Jam 2? I don't even, if I'm his marketer, if I'm his right-hand guy, and I'm sitting there saying, nothing about your brand has ever been linked to Michael Jordan. Kobe's was. Kobe was trying to be like Mike. Kobe's the Gatorade commercial. Like Mike. I want to be like Mike. I want to be, you know the whole thing?
Yes.
Kobe was trying to be Mike.
Yeah.
There's nothing about LeBron James that's like he's trying to be Michael.
Other than the number.
Not his game. Well, it used to be 6 until Michael said, you know, he took a shot at LeBron saying no one is bigger than the NBA. And then LeBron's like, I'll take 23, right? Now, LeBron, do your own movie. What's Space Jam? So I don't understand that concept. Like, are we supposed to expect Giannis to do Space Jam 3 in about 10 years? No. I don't know about that.
I think LeBron secretly thought he was going to do a better movie than Michael. I think he wanted to one-up him. And I think that was dangerous. You know, by the way, they're also tooting their horn about, like I said, this is all spin, you know, with movie numbers. That's all it is. They were coming out and saying, we beat Black Widow. Well, Black Widow's been out for 3 weeks, and it did $80 million on their first weekend.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no comparison there whatsoever. I will give LeBron credit for one thing. It's not easy acting on a green screen and with animated characters. I mean, if you're not a trained actor and then you have to try to pull that off and make it seem real, I'm going to go check it out. Dash wants to see it.
Neither was Mike, by the way. Michael was also not an actor.
With Ryan Coogler advising you and $150 million on the Warner lot, you don't think it's something you can pull off?
No, I'm sure he can, but I'm just saying it's not the easiest thing.
If you're watching this, who watched it? If you watched it, did you like it? Did you not like it? Just out of curiosity. You know, if you've seen it and you liked it, put thumbs up. If you watched it and you didn't like it, put thumbs down. Maybe give us a score. Out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, I think, has got a 4.2 or 4.3. I don't know what the score is. IMDb is a 4.3 here. This thing of ours just posted 4.3 on IMDb. What's your score out of 10 if you actually watch it? And right next to it, write down, I'm a LeBron James fan or I'm not a LeBron James fan. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.